Hey guys, welcome back to another monster video. So in today's video, I'm going to be helping you guys out figuring out whether or not you should actually invest in this monster, the new monster that's part of the Bounty Hunt exclusive. The name is Hansetel, and I will be doing an analysis in today's video for this monster. So I hope you guys are excited. If you are, make sure to drop a like, subscribe. Anyways, let's get started. Hey guys, so Monster just went ahead and posted this on their Twitter, aka X. So it says, "Don't let appearances fool you. Hensel may be a petite monster and who loves candy, but he's a merciless hunter, and he's thirsty for revenge." Okay, well, witches beware. The day of reckoning has arrived with a witch-killing crossbow. Alright, so you guys know this monster recently came out, and part of, Bounty Hunt, it actually dropped on Friday. So it's been a couple of days, but they went ahead and actually posted this on X as well. So let's go ahead and watch it real quick. So here it is, introducing the new monster, guys. So I'm pretty sure that, wait, if I remember correctly, it's nature and metal, or is it just nature? Let's see. It is actually nature and metal, yeah. So both of those elements. I mean, you can just tell by just the looks, obviously. You know what I mean? You have all the green and then some metal, or like gray, which indicates metal. But anyways, this monster is actually the first one to have the Pierce trait slash status caster. It's supposed to be a trait, but even just if it was a status caster, it would have still been the first monster with the Pierce trait to be introduced into the game for this new era. So yeah, this is the first monster, and it's got 50,000 strength, 24,016 speed, and 1.4 million life. So yeah, strength, speed, everything is just going crazy nowadays with these new era monsters. I mean, if you take a look at a couple of eras ago, like this, like if you seen something like this on a monster, you'd have been like, what? But now it's just like normal, you know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, Monster Legends play now, so let's go ahead and check this out. Now take a look at this. Bounty Hunt, Hansetel, we've got this, what do you call it, lore. If you guys want to go ahead and read it, you can go ahead and do this and just pause this video and check it out for yourself, or you can just head over to the Social Point player support forums to actually check this out for yourself, or on their Twitter as well, obviously. But anyways, take a look at this. Evolving traits, right? Whoops. Evolving traits, we have rank 0 Pierce, right? Rank 1 immune to blind, and status caster at rank 3, you get that status caster gains a villain hater on its first turn. So basically, villain hater are literally any monster with the villain book. So if they're in the villain book, any of them, you're basically gonna have that status caster in the first turn where you're gonna have triple damage. And remember, status casters did get updated. So what happens is that the monster needs to actually get in a turn before they could actually do anything with their status caster. So the status caster will kick in once the monster gets in the turn. So this will be useless until they get into turn, basically. So for the most part, I mean, at least the Pierce is actually a trait. If it was a status caster, the monster would have been alright. But now it's actually usable because it's actually trait, and you'll basically have it straight away. And this is a metal and nature attacker with Pierce and villain hater skills. Now here we can actually take a look at the stat sheet. Okay, so stat sheet basically just shows you an overall of everything. So take a look at this. For example, life, we have a 507,292 life, right? I mean, pretty good, I would say, you know what I mean? The life is actually very, very good. Power, on the other hand, 21,175 and 13,904 speed. For the pros, I mean, you have really good power there, 21,175. That's really good. Now I can't wait to actually take a look at the damage output as well for the monster. So anyways, let's take a look at the traits, obviously. So we already actually did review the trait, although the Fugitive Hater Season 1, this will actually just be good just for this Fugitive or Bounty Hunt, basically. After this Bounty Hunt, this will go away. So you'll just have these three. Anyways, relics. For relic wise, we have 2 swords. Now this is actually a pretty good relic slot. I feel like some players won't really like this, but I personally like it. I think it's really cool. So attackers with double sword, that's an exception, you know what I mean, that we can make. Now if this was on a tank, if this was on a denier or like a supporter, I would have been like, what? This is garbage. But relics, double sword, I mean, that's not bad. Now I wouldn't say it's like the best relic slots because there is not any way of this monster regenerating stamina, obviously. So that's basically the con for it. So it has pro and con, obviously. Depends on how you look at it. But if you were to, let's say, pair this monster up with like a monster on the side that would give stamina regen, for example, that would have been cool. You know what I mean? That would definitely work out, I would say. Any supporters that would really help you out with stamina wise, this would be a good monster with those relic slots. But relic slots, I feel like, you know what I mean? Me personally, if I had to make this monster, I wouldn't have done double sword. I would have just done one sword and then another on the side, like a mask or something, or whatever else that will give me stamina. You know what I mean? Where in this case we have two sword, so I guess we can make an exception. It's whatever. But again, if that really bothers you, what you can actually do is actually pair it up with a monster that would basically help this monster regenerate stamina. Anyways, for the books we have League of Hunters, Good Legions, and Wielders. Now those three books, you know what I mean? We have Good Legions for Team Wars. I think Whalers is also part of Team Wars that you can actually use. I'm not sure about League of Hunters though. I think that'll just be for like book rewards, for example. Elements, again, it's metal and nature, so that's actually not bad. Then you can actually take a look at this two ways. The metal and nature, it could be a pro and con, because right now we're in a light and magic meta, guys, so that would help against that. But then again, that metal part, that in the magic meta, so just something to be careful of. But again, it's a pro and con, so it depends how you look at it. Anyways, I think we're ready to actually take a look at the skills here. Okay, by the way, before we get into skills, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the way the monster looks, or what you actually think of the design. Anyways, basic attacks, we have Mather, right? So Mather is a moderate metal damage to one enemy. It is 0 cooldown. It costs 22 stamina cost, obviously 40 damage output. I feel like this might some players might actually run this, because this is like a decent damaging skill, basically, that it has 0 cooldown. So if you go up against monsters that would CDA you, you know what I mean, you don't have to worry about that, because this monster can basically spam this as long as you have the 22 stamina. Now that could be also bad, because you know the monster does have double relic sword, so that double sword relic can also be bad, you know what I mean? So it's really up to you if you want to run that or not. But anyways, another basic attack is a low nature damage to all enemies. I don't think anybody's gonna run this. If it was maybe moderate nature damage to all enemies, that would have been fine, because that's a 0 cooldown, 30 stamina cost, something to kind of keep in mind. Tier 1, let's get into tier 1. We have Hag Hunter, which is a villain hater to itself, gives ownership to itself. Now, if you want to run this is up to you, you know what I mean? I personally wouldn't really run it, because it doesn't really counter any like you know what I mean, any like meta threats like nowadays, like monsters that are like meta, they aren't really in the villain book, you know what I mean? Most of them are like ancestral monsters and stuff like that players are actually running nowadays, and nobody's actually in the villain hater that's like an ancestral, not that I know of, especially the ones that are actually meta, that I know for sure. So it's really up to you if you want to run this. I personally wouldn't myself. Anyways, another tier 1 attack is this Wish Shaker, which is a very heavy, or sorry, just a heavy metal damage to all enemies, not very heavy, but just heavy, and it's actually 45 damage AoE. That's actually really good. And then you have 2 turn cooldown and 42 stamina cost. This is actually not bad. You have a low cooldown, low stamina cost, or you know, moderate stamina cost, and the damage output is actually not bad either. Now, getting into tier 2, we have this legacy skill, which is a villain hater to itself, double damage to itself as well. So you're basically gonna have triple damage plus double damage, is what they're saying, and it is 2 turn cooldown with 50 stamina cost. I wouldn't really run it, to be honest, either. Now, moving on to the next one. Prayer of the Slayer, moderate nature damage to all enemies, applies a 25% damage boost. Now this you might actually have to carry, 2 turn cooldown and 42 stamina cost, so not bad, and it's a 40% AoE. Anyways, Spawn of Gretel. This is a villain hater to itself, deals massive nature damage to one enemy, requires cooldown. This is actually not bad, because first you're applying the villain hater. Now if, let's say for some reason, or like for a good reason, let's say you are running up against a monster with villain hater, or just villain book, you know what I mean, a monster that's actually in the villain book, you're basically applying that villain hater first and then dealing the massive nature damage. So if you get lucky and you actually face a monster in the villain book, you're actually going to apply this first and then deal the damage. Plus that's a 70 damage output, which is actually pretty good, and the stamina cost is so good, plus the cooldown. Oh my goodness, this just alone, the massive nature damage alone, is actually really good, because you only have 1 turn cooldown, 36 stamina cost, and 70 damage. That's actually really good. Now I want to zoom out a little bit more so you guys can actually see the bottom. I don't know if you guys can actually see it already, but we have Witch Seeker's Strike, which is a insane metal damage to one enemy, requires cooldown. So that's a 75 damage output, even better than the previous one. 2 turn cooldown and 0 stamina cost. Oh my gosh, what is this? What's up with this monster? He has some insane some crazy single target you know, damaging skills. That's actually really good. So not only is his power good, but also the damage outputs on these some of these skills are actually really good. The ultimate, it's actually an insane metal damage to one enemy, applies stun to all enemies, and bleeding. So speaking of bleeding, by the way, so something that I actually noticed with this monster is that he doesn't really apply any tortures besides just his ultimate, where you know, you get the bleeding, but that's really about it, you know what I mean? That's the only thing this monster really has to offer in terms of torture. So that would be a con, you know what I mean? So that's even if you actually even consider that bleeding, you know what I mean? Because your chances of getting your ultimate's pretty low. But anyways, you do have a denial for your ultimate, which is, I guess, kind of cool. So not only are you going to be dealing damage on an enemy, but also stunning everybody. Now, me personally, if I had to run 4 skills on this monster, what I would do, I would carry both of the skills on tier 3. So Spawn of Gretel and Witch Seeker Strike, I would run these two. And then on top of that, what I would do, I would run Prayer of the Slayer, which is a moderate nature damage to all enemies, 24% damage boost to everybody. And then last but not least, I would carry the heavy metal damage to all enemies from tier 1, because then you'll have one AoE metal damage, one AoE nature, and then you have one metal and one nature single targets. So that would kind of balance things out, and you do get a 25% damage boost, like a cherry on top, basically, with that villain hater if you want you know, to add that on. So yeah, that's what I would run if I personally had this monster. But do I see this monster being meta? I would say so, yeah. I feel like players will probably start using this monster. Obviously, Just and Justice is still going to be used over this monster, but I would actually like to see how this monster will actually change in the meta right now. Because again, if you take a look at the elements, it's actually a pro and con. Metal nature against the current meta, which is magic and light, but also that metal element can also be bad because we are in a magic meta, so be careful. But anyways, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this monster. In terms of runes, if you're wondering what I would do, I'd actually do 2 strength and 1 speed, or you can do 1 strength, 1 speed, and 1 life, or 2 speed and 1 strength. That also works out. But anyways, guys, like I said, let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you want to pick it up, that's up to you. I personally say it's actually worth it. It's better than what we've seen the past many bounty hunts, I would say. So yeah, it's actually worth picking up if you want to pick it up. Definitely worth it. Even at rank 1, I would say, or rank 0, because you have that pierce, but obviously you want better stats and stuff, so it would be cool if you could actually get it to higher rank. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace out.
You lay awake alone at night.